Always enjoyed walking. I ran cross country. I did 5Ks, 10Ks, would run trails, things like that. Cross country ski. I'm a really good walker. Basically identified that like a Snickers commercial where, hey, go eat something, you're not being yourself. My wife will look at me and she will say, it's time for you to go for your walk.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Born to Tint podcast. I'm Ricky. I'm glad to be here with my big brother, Josh. What's going on, everyone? Today, we had a really fun conversation with my good friend, Rob Mattson, or as some people know him, Gramps. Check him out on his podcast, The Second Lap.
He's a guy that's made all of his money off scrapping cars.
Okay.
Prison in 2000 something for, and it's a term I've never heard, but basically writing hot checks.
Okay.
Not hot checks. He was floating checks from businesses, and so he's been involved. And then him and Gary are both. He's a fan and a friend of Gary's, and they've kind of re-engaged. So there has been some sort of resurgence of it, and at the same time, it feels like I said, it's been just going on forever.
Yeah, what's cool is all the technology being built up on the backside that most people don't realize. Like the most exciting thing for me for that whole period of like understanding the crypto networks a little bit better, on top of understanding like Bitcoin as a store of value, which I still like 1,000% believe is like the spot to be. Like the DeFi rails and stuff that I played around with while I was playing with NFTs and trying to just understand how it all works.
Explain what that is now, because now, okay.
So it's probably it's what's really good. What's happening with the government right now is actually becoming friendly to it. Is the banks have realized how valuable it is. The ability to like right now on my phone with I could easily do it on my phone. The safest way to do it would be with like a wallet that's not on my phone, right, and have an actual hardware wallet. But I could easily right now, if it's small amounts, comfortably have a wallet on my phone that I have Bitcoin or Ethereum in. I can go onto a protocol like Maker, which is literally you get to be your own bank. So I could, and I've done it before. I did it in 2021 where I took like 5 Ethereum and I locked it into a smart contract. So on the interface on the computer, it's just like interacting with a bank. Like, okay, I'm going to open a vault of Ethereum that allows me to borrow stable coins off of it. Mm-hmm. But you can only borrow maximum is as soon as your loan to value. So say you have $10,000 worth of Ethereum at the current market price. If you take out like 2,500 as a loan, you're good because you're over collateralized over 150%. As soon as and it gives you as the price is changing what your percentage is. So like the safe thing to do is be at least like 300%. So any type of loan you're going to take off. So let's say you have $1 million of Bitcoin. You could go in and take $100,000 loan against it in stablecoin, do whatever you want with it. And it's not due. You don't have a single payment to make. The interest on it when you pay it back is going to go back to yourself. Mm-hmm. And whoever's lending it is actually whoever's lending it's getting the interest. But at the end of the day, you didn't sell any Bitcoin. So it's like owning a big piece of property. You can literally be your own bank. Your assets are now your own bank. You can loan against it. You have no payment due. The only risk you have is if the value of the underlying asset, like Bitcoin, drops and your loan to value goes under 150%, you have like a 1 hour window to either add more collateral or pay the loan off, or it's going to automatically sell the underlying asset at market value while it's still above 100%. To close out the loan, and you get charged like 10%.
So if the market tanks out, big problem.
If you don't have it massively over collateralized, but as soon as you have enough
leverage disappears, you are on.
And on an upswing like in 2021, I did that. I took out a loan. I took those stable coins. I bought more Ethereum and I added them to the vault. Now I'm massively over collateralized and I'm holding more Ethereum. Ethereum doubled in value. Some of the Ethereum I didn't have in the vault, I sold, paid off the loan, and now I just leveraged up my position in a safe way. That's not like doing like the shady leverage people do. So it was like I was gonna say, if you've been, I don't know if you've been paying attention. Seed Phrase is one of the guys that is pretty big on
X and is a punk and has all, he had his punk on loan for like $2.7 million.
Oh yeah.
And he basically had, like, as you say, there was a couple hour window where he had noticed that he was going to lose that asset.
Yeah.
And he basically weaved like 3 or 4 of his wallets, like all the art he had bought over the last 3 years with this loan money there. And he's basically sitting there holding nothing. Is wait,
Yeah.
that it looks so.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's the upswing, and hey, I did really well. And there's the other side of this.
Well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, the cool thing is though, is functionally it gives you the ability to be your own bank.
Yeah.
Now, how risky you are with it is a problem. A lot of people that got in early and saw the crazy swings on the NFT stuff, like me included, I made a lot of money on Gary V's NFTs because I got in at the beginning and I sold a bunch of them before, like, or around the peak. But then I put it into other stupid stuff because I wasn't looking at it as dollars. It's really easy to spend a quarter ETH in your brain for some reason. It's like, oh, just 0.25, but like,
it makes the fractions for you.
that was $1,000 purchase I just made, and I would have never actually taken that out of my bank account and spent it. But it was fun. It was fun to the technology is going to be useful in all kinds of ways. It's going to actually digitize money and make money move really easy. Like right now, stable coins are being used all over the world. Right now, you can say you're someone in the US that's working and you're sending money home to your family somewhere where economic situation.
Nigeria.
Yeah. Where sending $100 is going to be like a very big deal and take care of your family.
Somalia.
Anywhere like that. Yeah. Well, that's probably actually helped make that problem worse because if you Western Union $100, you're paying 15-20%, right?
Yeah.
So you can't even sending $20 with a $20 fee is like 100% interest rate to send money to someone. Right now with stable coins, they just need a wallet on their phone and you can send them USDC or Tether or any of these others. DAI was the stable coin that I used when I was using Maker's Vault. There's plenty of stable coins out there now that are trustworthy that is just going to stay pegged to the dollar. And that's the other thing that makes Bitcoin so powerful is like, we think inflation's bad here in the US right now, but in other countries around the world where they're not the world reserve currency, it's much, much worse.
Right.
So if you have a way to tap into the dollar with no fee to transfer it, and effectively there's now apps that are out there that will immediately transfer it in real time when they transact in their local currency, like, you're going to do it. Like, so ultimately, I think it just makes money move faster around the world, which is going to allow the economy to grow. Like, that's going to be the positive.
The problem is, and the things that you and I are feeling right now is that, I'm trying to think of the politically correct way to say this. There's too much hanging off the teat, right? If you think about all the industries this thing is going to disrupt, real estate, like thinking about the broker and the where you go sign the papers. I mean, you think title insurance.
In an ideal world, you could remove all middlemen because trust can be totally outsourced. But I think it's going to move slowly. Like, that's the problem in these frenzies, in these bubbles where a lot of people realize its potential really fast. Just like the .com bubble, everybody comes running in because I'm going to get rich tomorrow. But really, like, look, the internet really, if you invested in Amazon in 99, you might have sold when it dropped 90-something%, and you didn't have the ability to hold on and know that, okay, in 20 years, I'm going to be set for life if I hold this.
Cool.
Everything takes longer. Even the AI stuff. We were just talking about AI.
Yes.
I can't believe it's been like 3 years since I first used ChatGPT. I'm like sitting there thinking about it. That feels like yesterday. That I was mind blown by it, and like, oh, tomorrow everything's going to change. And
I'm in the technology business, as you know, and I didn't touch it for 2.5 years. Like, I just stayed away from it. If it wasn't for iPhones putting it out and giving me the sort of access to it, I wouldn't do it. And I don't think I'm giving any secrets away. My company is now using a enterprise version of ChatGPT that allows us to use stuff within, and then you don't have to worry about the bleeding and the integrity of it. So we're now using it as a tool, like a squeegee on the window now, right? It's this new tool, and it does some magical things. We talked about it at the reason I was here in town. We talked about it at our kickoff, and they showed the Will Smith video eating the spaghetti. You remember the original one, and it's just destroyed. And they showed like Will Smith eating spaghetti with modern day technology today, and you can't tell. I mean, other than guys, smart asses at the table talking about there's no spaghetti in his chin, the way that he ate it super fast, seems clean, but it's here.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, they've never seen Beard Meets Food or whatever that guy is. Have you seen him on YouTube?
I think so.
Big giant beard, and he does food challenges. He's smashing crazy amounts of foods, and somehow his beard's always clean. So it's possible. Anyway, sorry.
Well, I was going to say that the same thing with AI. Like when he had started using it 3 years ago, I maybe used it a little bit here and there. Maybe 9 months ago, I used it a little bit more when I wanted to start putting out like standard SOPs and stuff. And I still not, and like now how I use it now compared to how I used it back then is completely different, because now I understand the prompt does really matter, and then also have it ask you questions, get it dialed in. And then with what we just launched with our relaunch of the Academy Tint Lab, like how we've been able to produce all of the slide decks and all of the digital information that we're putting up in our systems, like him with the new Gemini is ridiculous, or not the new, the fully upgraded Gemini is absolutely ridiculous. Like you can generate a podcast off of your material, like have the PDFs that have the SOPs, and then let it generate a podcast, like two people talking about it and then bragging about, this was a good decision. Let me tell you why. And it's like you're listening to it and you're like, this is a perfect training video training audio track for the sole fact, like it gives you a different perspective on the information that's being fed to you. Instead of just like reading it and trying to take it in, it's like, it's literally creating a chat for you to digest that information even smoother.
Right.
And we were able to turn it around in like 2 or 3 weeks. And I mean, to be able to get the digital assets that we have now that are on our school academy, and how it has all the graphics, how it's laid out and everything, it's like, go back a year, that would have been us probably hiring somebody. They probably would have used AI to a point, but it would have been us hiring someone. It would have taken way longer. It would have cost us a lot of money. And now it's just, he upgraded his Gemini. And then what I did is, because I've been using chat, and I finally realized, like when it even comes to like responding to like emails or texts or anything, or I'm trying to rewarm a lead, I go in there, I type in what I've already communicated with the customer, when our communication dropped off, what they're looking to get done, what my intent is. I want to try to rewarm this lead and do it in Alex Hormozi style. Enter. And that's perfect. Copy, put your name in, send.
Right.
And it's like, I read that, what it spits back out at me. It's like, yeah, that's what I wanted it to say. But I look at what I typed into it, and it looks like a 5th grader typed it in there. So it's like it kind of makes me feel a little happy in the sense, like that was one thing in school that I wish I would have paid attention more to, was spelling, and then also grammar, sentence structure, actually like writing something out properly.
Right.
I cheated my ass off. Like I ended up.
I was a math guy.
Yeah, no, same thing. Like math was my thing. Math came easy to me. Didn't have to put the work down. I could do a lot of it in my head.
Right.
And I figured out the easier ways to do it. Loved math. Reading and writing, absolutely hated. Did what I had to do to get by. Yep. Was able to get an A my senior year and junior, just because, again, I was really good at manipulating the system, unfortunately. But
probably helps you in your job now.
Well, absolutely, going through those experiences. But now it's like, it's got to the point, it's like getting the same thing in math class, like can't use a calculator, or if you don't show your work, we know you didn't do it. And it's like, I had a teacher literally tell me in high school, like, you didn't. I was like, why did I get an F on this? She's like, you didn't show your work. I was like, I did it in my head. She's like, I can't do it in my head, so you can't. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. All right, that's nice.
Well, now that's the whole. Now they can't even use that as the litmus test, because you can go home and have AI give you the work and the answer like in one click.
Yeah,
done.
Yeah, but like now having the equivalent of the calculated math, that's having the AI to do it. It's like I can put in there what my monkey mind brain is telling me that I want to put in there, give it the right prompts, know how to use it in a general way, and then it spits back out something where I'm like, oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And print.
I used it last night. I had to send a message to 4 layers of management. I'm going to always try and be the positive one here. So I just sent a message to 4 levels of management. And so you want to sound right. You want to feel right. You don't want to step on your own wiener. I think I can use that one. And I wrote out 3 paragraphs. It was 9:30. I haven't had a drink in 10 years, so it wasn't like I was worried about how I was thinking. But when you get tired, it's like you're drunk. Like your brain isn't fully engaged. So I had written out these 3 paragraphs, and I'm like, I could go look at this ChatGPT. I haven't really used it for that much. So I highlighted what I wrote, and I put it in, and I said, can you just make this better? And as you said, it made it what I wanted to say, but didn't have either the patience because I wanted to go to sleep, because I wanted to come in and do this with you guys. I mean, like I was just somewhere else and it fixed it for me. So pretty magical.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing. As long as you actually do the rough draft and you put some energy into prompting it, like it's still what you were writing. It's just now you've got the ultimate proofwriter in your back pocket all the time that's going to get it grammatically correct and just even change the structure a little bit to where it makes more sense when it's read. That's huge, man. Like I'm encouraging my kids to use it. Like, don't ask it to write the paper for you.
Right.
Use it as a tool to understand the material better. Have it help you make the outline based off the grading rubric.
And fill in the
and
outline.
you fill it in. Then write your own rough draft. Then give it the outline that you filled in and the rough draft that you wrote, and ask it to help make some corrections and tell you why it changed what it changed.
Right.
And at the end of that process, you just got to pre-grade the thing that you wrote and help make the changes really fast. I mean, that's the process you go through anyways when you're writing. Right. Just go through that process faster now and save yourself some time that you can spend on something else.
Well, the big thing you hit there, though, is to make sure that when you're saying, check this, but then also tell me where I went wrong. Yeah. So then you can see where you went wrong so you can learn from it.
Use it as an assistant.
That's the key.
Not you're doing it for me. Yeah. That's what I love about, so he's been saying Gemini, well, it is plugged into Gemini, but Notebook LM is, I mean, what's funny is hopefully this becomes a clip because that's how I came across it, as I saw somebody else's clip talking about it. And just that little 10, 20 second Instagram clip was like, what? So then I got on YouTube and looked at it for a second. I was like, okay, it's a Google app right now. If you have Chrome on your computer and you've got a Google account, which most people do, just click on the little app section where all the other apps are, and Notebook LM is there. It's available. The free model is limited to how much you can do with it. But
is that time? Is that data? What's the limit?
It's like so what's really cool about it is you have 3 screens basically in front of you. It splits it into 3 sections. The left side's your sources, the center is the chat, and the right side's the studio where you can actually generate stuff.
Okay.
Audio overviews, video overviews, which the audio overviews, which you use to make like a podcast, slide decks, flashcards, generate a quiz. Right. It's got a bunch of features over there. But what you do is on the left column, you add your own sources. So like for doing a film to glass meter chart that I wanted to make it really easy to teach someone, even like our own outside salespeople, that they could use as a visual graphic to show to a customer to explain, or just so they could fully understand what it is. Like you've got surfaces of glass and like loaded in the information from the manufacturers of the film that we use of their charts of like what's safe on which films are safe on which types of glass. I already had those. And then I know the meter that we use to test it is the EDTM Glass Check Elite. There's a search feature on the sources side where you can do like a deep search and it's going to use the AI to search the web for sources. EDTM Glass Check Elite populated like 32 sources. I kind of clicked through a couple of them. A lot of them were from EDTM. Some of them were from other websites. All right, these look cool. Add those. I added some stuff from Alex Hermosi on how he does sales. And so I added like my own flavor of sources over on the site. Then you start having a chat with it and see what comes back out. You can even do something called the mind map where it'll like literally turn it into a flow chart where it gives you like 3 options. When you click on one, it branches it off onto the next things. And then from each one of those, you can then start chatting with the chat from that spot where it's already pre-generated and mapped it all out. But then you just ask it like, okay, I need a prompt to create a infographic showing the different types of glass that you might encounter while using the Glass Check Elite and which films should be used based off of those types of glass.
And that's the craziest piece. What you're saying is you're using it to create the prompt that you're going to put back in. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're using it to, it's helping you.
And I added the logos for Tint Labs. So the Tint Labs are like training community that we've created and launched. And I added those logos in there too. So I said, do it in the theme of Tint Lab and use Tint Lab's logos. And it created a prompt. And the very first one I tried was like, this is perfect. This is like exactly what I wanted. Like I didn't even need to make any real changes to the prompt. There's like
Do you have to wear the nose tape though if you're doing it in Alex's?
Nah.
I'm trying to make sure.
Well, that'd be good content to make.
That'd be great content.
You guys should put
Get the
nose
0
tape on.
and 1 and
What you do is
everything.
you start off like this, and then as you put the nose tape on, you put it on, then you have a wig,
Yeah.
and then you put in a wife beater, and you're like, oh, and then do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you see
That's
his
how you
last video
properly
with,
use-
he did a podcast with
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was intense.
Really good. Yeah, really good. Yeah, but I mean, there was like 1 or 2 little changes I can make to it where like their new Gemini's new banana, whatever, that makes text and images actually correct, works pretty good. There was a couple little errors, but then it was like, just take that image into Canva, replace the logo because the logo was a little off, and change 1 or 2 lines of text that like had an error.
Right.
But in Canva, you can just literally like click on it. It becomes actual text that you can then manipulate, even though the image was a JPEG. It pulls it right out, and it's like instantaneous. Like, okay, another 5 minutes of polish work and this is done, and it's basically perfect. And then I figured out using it more because I'm creating a bunch of stuff for the same company and I want it all to match. I figured out, okay, I'm gonna make a master prompt of how I want everything to look that I generate for Tint Lab based off of this one, because I had made like maybe 5 or 6 at that point, and they all looked a little different. But the one I liked the most, I gave it the prompt that was used to generate that one and said, can you make me a master prompt for Tint Lab so they all look like this one? It created me a master prompt that I then turned into a source file that in every notebook that I'm working on stuff for Tint Lab, I just add that master prompt. And then anything I generate in the studio side looks the
It's
same.
like a baseline for
Yeah,
your.
it's everything comes out looking with the same design style. And now all of a sudden creating new stuff just becomes easier. And as the snowball rolls, it's like, man, now I can create an entire slide deck based off of this same thing. It's every different thing I'm working on for Tint Lab right now has its own notebook that's being pre-populated with sources. And sometimes from one thing, I'm generating something that becomes like, oh, this would be a useful source to add to this one. Like the email template we're using to email people. Like all of a sudden, like I can do, I've gotten more work done in the last 3 weeks, like on the business side of business than I've probably done in the last year.
But the fear that everybody has out there is AI is going to take your jobs. Have you guys, I heard you, I'm cheating here. I heard you said you guys have hired people. You guys haven't shrunk. Like you're using all this AI stuff and you've gotten smaller.
No, it's helping us grow. I think
You're growing.
Yeah, I think it's going to help everybody grow.
Right.
Everybody's going to be more productive.
If you use it, look at it as a tool. It's not a replacement, it's a tool. If you fear it and don't try to use it, then yes, you will be replaced because you're not using it. You need to start using it and figure out how you can use it within your business itself. Because of the way we're using it, we're actually we've brought one person on in the Green Valley. We just hired our first person in Tint Lab. And it's made the ease of onboarding and then also giving them the information that we need to get to them in a very clear and concise way of they know what needs to be done and also how, like if they're selling, because they're both going to be salespeople for us, of exactly what we're selling, how we're selling, and how it'll benefit the end consumer.
And can they always go back to it as like an assistant? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's their sort of, I think of onboarding people and thinking of that learning curve and always coming back. Hey, Josh, I forgot. Hey, Josh. And this is now your helper?
That's what we're developing right now. So yes, you can just got to put the time into actually creating it that way.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
in which thankfully, I think how everything hit for us in the past, probably 4 weeks, him stumbling into the notebook thing in Gemini, and then actually us realizing like how we can use it and then how we can expedite the actions that we need to execute. It's like, all right, this is going to be, because like even everything that everything we've created for Tint Lab, it's stuff that we already technically had in our head and we've always needed to put it down. And we have put it down in a sense in certain documents, but it still hasn't been as clear and concise as we want. It doesn't have the diagrams, didn't have the design work or anything done to it, to where it's like, oh, we're going to just, we'll rebrand this and this will be Green Valley's onboarding. And I was like, no, we don't need to rebrand anything. Like the whole point of Tint Lab is to be able to show our entire blueprint of how we took our flat glass to the next level. Why do we need to rebrand it? We're literally use the same thing from Tint Lab for whenever we onboard someone within our company. Who cares if it says Green Valley or not? If it says Tint Lab, it's our system. Like it doesn't need to be rebranded. It's literally, then we get to make the statement like, this is the same playbook we use from Tint Lab. We use it in our business.
Right.
This is what
It's like the hair club for men.
Yeah.
Not only am I never mind. Show my age here. Show my age here.
But yeah, no, it's we use the same blueprint for that. You know, the next thing we got to do is
I got that. Yeah.
I'm not all the company, but I'm the customer too.
But no, I remember that. I'm old enough.
But yeah, no, it's now us. Now that he's done all that with the flat glass side, technically now we can roll that over to our auto side too. Now that's not something necessarily we're going to load in the Tint Lab because we're trying to steer everyone away from auto in a sense that it's, you know, flat glass is the way to go. But now we can still use that same tool now to even sharpen our auto department even more and make the onboarding and also the communication from front to back, the scripts, the sales scripts that like. We do have sales scripts, but now they just got like the extra polish on it.
Will they carry an iPad with them so that they can have access to all this? What's their weapon of choice?
Like I just use the phone. Some people like the tablet better, but I mean, I can get everything I need. Yeah.
And screen.
Yeah. We've had people use tablets. I mean, you could totally use a tablet, but the cool thing is they're not like so dense that you can't have it on full screen wide on a phone and understand it. The transcripting part has been the really crazy cool part. I've been using Notebook for that too. So like every sales call that we're having now, you can easily transcribe and load as a source that then you can create like even training material for role playing,
right.
Like these different types of conversations. If you have enough,
and it's actually a real conversation.
It's an actual, it's real. It's and the even like just for after you've had the call. Like I'm bad at putting down quality notes while I'm trying to talk to someone. Like
clip that.
So, but what I figured out is like, that's fine. Actually, I can be more intentional in the conversation and really be dialed in and not focus on which notes I'm going to write down. And I just take the conversation when I'm done, transcribe it, throw it into my transcripts for Tint Lab notebook that has everybody I've talked to in it.
Right.
And hey, for this X and X person that I've now added as a source, right? Can you create me notes for the CRM? And I've already given it a template for how I want those notes, which it helped me create that template. Right. But now every set of notes comes out the same with all the information we want, with a lead score, with the plan of action at the end, what was said at the end of, and then even notes for like the follow-up call. These are the things to focus on. And then even the custom email that we send them, instead of having it like fully automated and they just get sent an email when we get off the call, I've got that as a template in that same conversation. Now, can you help me write the email after first call or after second call? You got templates.
And are all of them unique? So it doesn't feel like a boilerplate?
No, that's what I'm saying. Instead of it just being like a standard template that I was initially sending, I would just swap out the name and everything would be just.
These are the emails I go through and I select and I delete all things. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
It's personalized.
So now all of a sudden it's personalized very specifically to the conversation we just had. The intro, the main flow of it, how it actually then gives information for the class dates, hotels to look at. That is all mostly the same, but even that at a high level, each segment of like the class is 3 days, you get lifetime school access, right. All of those things that it has listed out in the template are modified very specifically to what was important to that person. Like it still gives the information, but it highlights the things that were more important. And like it's really kind of wild. Yeah. Like when I look at it, I'm like, man, this looks like really professional. Like if somebody sent me this, I would think like, oh, these guys are dialed in. Like, and it doesn't really take me that long. It takes.
So I'm going to give you a flip side. The bad actors, the things I protect in what I do in my business, they're using the same shit.
Oh, I wanted to get into that. That's got to make it really hard for cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Because people are getting fooled left and right.
It's made, the biggest thing that we're protecting against is the guy that clicks on the link and they ask you to put your credentials in, phishing or what, as people look at it. And social engineering is what they call it. That's where, hey, Ricky, I saw you the other day and you just got out of the cold and you were reading the Bible and, hey man, it would really be great if you could just click here. You could send me over, $10 to help me out, whatever. And I'm probably doing that too. But the social engineering side of it and the AI is doing that and it's making it much tougher. We do things, and I'm not here to sell my company, but we do things where we're using it. We're trying to take, as I was saying earlier, when something comes in and it is legitimately a bad thing, we use that to kick off a training that's specific on that one thing, so they can learn that as opposed to just a general training kind of program. But it's made it really tough. And I don't know if it's just me specific because I'm in the business and what I do, if, doing this kind of stuff and being more visible makes me more of a target. But just, I've had, like, as an example, I've had a email I've woken up to 17 times in the last 30 days, basically saying, we see you're trying to change your Venmo password. Click here if that's a legitimate kind of thing. And it's like, holy shit, what's going on? And then I get these messages and it's just constant. And they've gotten just so tailored to where I have to call friends sometimes to say, did you send this to me? Because I don't know if it's you. Like, and that's what's the scary part of it is.
No, I've gotten the same thing with like PayPal. I think I was getting text messages, and like I think by like the second one I got, and at the time I didn't even have a PayPal account, so I was just like, I called PayPal, and they're like, yeah, no, we'll never send a text for that. So I was like, okay, just wanted to verify, thank you, and then I just deleted it and reported it as spam. Anytime I get something like that, where if I have any kind of inkling, and it's usually almost any time that I feel like I don't trust this at all, I call the source. Like even with I'll get a call where it's either from the bank or something. Actually, take that back. Actually, I got a good example. Cox, our internet, called me and like, hey, we have this promotion. We see that you've been a loyal customer. You're paying $120 right now. We're locking in a promotion. You could pay $75 for the first year, then so go up to $100, so you'll save money. And I was like, okay, well, I'll call Cox. Like, I'm not going to. I'm not giving you any more information. Well, I've given you this, and this. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's nice, but I know that can be. You could have found that some way or another. I am not going any further this car. And then I got pushback from the guy, and I was just like, now I'm really not going to.
Now I know.
Yeah. And then I called Cox, and like, just talking to Cox in general was an utter waste of 30 minutes of my time, because all of a sudden she's trying to sign me into something completely different, like I'm a new customer. Like, no, I'm already an existing customer. I got a call. I want to verify if this is right or not. Because if it is, I would love to actually lock myself in the contract. I'm not getting rid of my internet, and I'd love to pay less. And then at that point, I gave up, and I was like, I'm wasting too much time to try to save like $50 a month. Like, I just don't care. I'll just keep paying my $120, and it is what it is. I don't care. But yeah, anytime someone calls me, I don't. It's not. You're never going to get more information from me. I'm not going to give you anything. It's like, okay, I'll handle this. Thank you for letting me know. I will call the source myself, and I will go to the source's website, find customer service, call them myself, and I'll work my way through it. Even if that means I got to work a little bit more time through it, which is fine. But then I get to verify, like, all right, this was real.
It's legit.
Yeah, this is legit. But I'm never going to trust anyone calling me or a text or an email. Like, I've had to explain that to, I believe, my mother-in-law at least once. If anything is text or email, don't click a link. Do not click a link unless you can verify it is the actual source that you're supposed to be clicking that link for. Because as soon as you click that link, issue. Yep. Like, even we get the same thing with we get the robocalls into the shop where they'll call. We'll pick up and then they'll hang up instantly. I'm like, and then they'll try to call it back and it's a dead line. I'm like, well, no, all they were testing was to see if that was a live line, if someone would pick up. Now they're going to sell that number off. Now we're about to get spammed.
Yep.
So I was like,
now.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I was like, even like a majority of the time, if I get a number, and I'll tell people when I give them my cell number, if I don't answer, leave me a voicemail. Leave me a voicemail or shoot me a text, either one. But if it's a random number that I've got zero clue about, I'm not answering it. I'm sorry. Yep. Like, it's just not going to happen, because then all of a sudden now I'm open hour, which I did recently last year, and now all of a sudden now I'm getting spammed like crazy. And it's just like delete.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse. Yeah. That actually kind of goes back to your question on like, do you think AI is going to like hurt employment or help it? Like, no matter how good it gets, like it's creating issues that probably makes it to where you guys actually have more to do. So that's actually creating more work.
It used to be email. They still say email is the number one threat vector because that's where it comes in. But it's now dropped down to like 70%. And you have people that are sending links through Teams and Zoom and any of these other apps, LinkedIn, any place that you can click. Yeah, they're now sending, and so your portfolio is having to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and at some point, it's just become this massive thing where it's sad that you have to spend so much time protecting yourself against hurt people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
Yeah, it's kind of like an immune system, right? That's a sad thing is honestly, people don't develop the fear of clicking links until people have already gotten destroyed. And like,
happen.
yeah, like it's the only way. It's even like getting sick, right? Like you're not going to build an immunity to something unless you actually catch it.
Every lesson I've learned in Web3 crypto has been painful.
Yeah.
Every one of them. June 20th of 2023, my seed phrase was given to a fake OpenSea guy from me. And I'm sitting at my grandson's birthday as he's blowing out his candles, and I'm watching my NFTs leave my wallet. So that's, yes, you always, you need that experience to.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't give anybody your seed phrase.
Please.
Ever. That's like the.
Not even your wife.
No.
The one you wrote down. Remember at the mustard.
I think it was the wallet I had my Hangout Hawk in, and
couldn't get into
all of a sudden, I just got a new computer, and I wrote the password down wrong or something and couldn't log into it. So
handwriting sucks.
So I panicked and like was like, I've got the seed phrase. I can just reset it. So I actually like completely logged it out to where now the only way to get back into that wallet was to use the seed phrase. And the seed phrase I wrote down was not working. And I was like in a full on panic. But then I like did some research, and this was before AI. But I figured out online that, I think it was a ledger. And there was like a master PDF of all of the possible words that ledger will use for a seed phrase.
Right.
So I literally like downloaded that and went through and looked at all the words I wrote down. And there was one word in there that wasn't on the list, but there was a word, one letter different that was on the list. And I was like, that must be it. I fixed it and logged in. And I was like, okay. Like I thought I just lost. I mean, at the time too, that NFT was worth like $30,000, $40,000. Like I was having a heart attack. Yeah, I was having a heart attack. Yeah,
I've experienced that, and I've had other friends that have experienced that, where you just let one letter off, and it's
So now I've got a much better system for how I store my seed phrases, and I know that they're accurate. So, and I don't have anywhere near as much money in.
Do tell.
I don't have anywhere near as much money in crypto right now either. That's the other thing is like, I liquidated so much that I wish I would have just let sit there and not played around with. But I think
20 years of Amazon thing.
Yeah, I mean,
you never know. There's a few. Yeah. The stories that keep me going are the ones like a good friend and a guy I know had gained some art as a bidder's edition. So he had art of somebody's, but he didn't actually buy anything. He just, by bidding, I don't know if you guys familiar. So if you're buying art, a lot of times they'll put them up for auction. When you put them up for auction, in order for people to not either get, no, I'm not going to win, so I'm not going to bid. They'll give you an edition just by putting in a bid. You'll get put in this category, and then you get this bidder's edition. So somebody bought an NFT, but there were 3 other people that had bid on it, so they all got the editions for free. And he sold his bidder's edition because I think it was a Sam Splat or Sprat or however you say it, and for 100 ETH, and was able to get a punk and a whole bunch of stuff out of it, and even with the roller coaster. But it was like, all you did was bid on something, and they gave you this piece of art, and now that art is worth whatever, and you never know. And I'm not kids don't go out and buy a bunch of art online.
No, what's crazy is I think eventually some of that stuff is, especially because the utility that could be added to it, there's a lot of people working on that right now. Like Gary's done, I mean, what he's done with VFriends already is kind of wild. I always like kind of disconnect from it for months at a time and don't pay attention at all. And then every time I tap back in to see what's going on, I'm like, damn, all right. He's never stopped building. That's why I had faith to buy. I ignored Bored Ape Yacht Club at Mint. I was in a clubhouse with the people that were minting that, like on the live clubhouse while it went live.
Right.
And they were minting those for 0.08 ETH. And I had enough ETH to buy like 100 of them, but I just was like, I'm putting my money into Gary.
Right.
And it's like, that's one of those moments that I'll always look back on and be like, man, like long term, I don't know, there might be something there, but like the reason I liked Gary, what he was doing is his whole thing was about the utility. Which brings us to where we even met was VCon, right? VCon. So my opinion on Gary's were like, okay, I got this ETH. I had just leveraged it up, figuring out how to use DeFi. Right. I have a lot more than I started with. I'm like massively. First off, like when 2020, when COVID hit and the market crashed, I was already monthly recurring buying purchases of both Ethereum and Bitcoin. And as soon as that happened and they announced they were going to print $2 trillion, I like tripled those amounts.
Right.
Going into that like winter, I decided I was going to sell my house in Texas and take all the money from that and put it into crypto because I knew it was about to go crazy. And so I had a lot of ETH and was like, all right, if anybody's doing anything in NFTs, now that Gary went from being anti-crypto in the last cycle to now he's all on with NFTs and he's promoting it for the utility, the fact that he can add value and that he's going to make it collectible because he's already in the collectible world. It's like, if I'm going to trust anybody, that's who I'm going to trust. Yep. And I mean, I minted some of the first VF1s for like 1 ETH.
You did good.
At 3 ETH. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I spent like 5 ETH and at one point I could have liquidated all of it for like 90 ETH. You know, I didn't, but I did well though. I mean, I probably made like 40 ETH. Problem is I kept seeing stuff like Bored Ape and then they came out with the mutants and like, man, I totally missed this. I didn't realize that these things would also have utility. They're not just the silly art.
Right.
And this market's going crazy. So then I started other stuff Gary was mentioning, like, okay, well, shoot, I can get like, I've got a shit ton of ETH I just made on this World of Women. That's another one. I got a World of Women for like 1.5 ETH and sold it for 12. But then I slowly bought a bunch of other little things that I was hoping were going to moon like that. And then all of a sudden, no.
Yeah.
Which Gary was warning from the jump. So it's like, you get into, that's why bubbles happen. That's exactly what the .com bubble was. I mean, people get greedy. It's fear and greed, right? So like the one thing I've learned is like definitely for Bitcoin, for me, accumulate when everybody's pessimistic. Just whenever the market's down is when you should just be accumulating. I mean, you hear real estate people. I just heard a guy on Iced Coffee Hour, real estate mogul who's trying to sell all of his property right now, but he needs other properties to invest in because he needs to roll it over so he doesn't have to pay the taxes. And his comment was like, I'm just waiting to see signs of distress in the market. I can't wait for the market to be down. Like the real killers out there are sitting on liquidity.
Sitting on a lot of cash.
They want the market to go down because that's actually when it's good if you're going to make money. Yeah. The problem is the general public gets greedy when it's good and they end up holding the bags. Like,
yep.
The casino mentality, especially being where we are right now, is what they use to build all the infrastructure. It's why, as you were saying earlier, I lived through that. I lived through the .com. My biggest sale in 1999 was to Enron. And then in 2000, I watched the guy I sold the software to walking out of the building, pulling a handcart with all of his stuff from his desk, you know, that whole .com expansion. So yeah, I've watched it. And so I've tried to use some of the lessons I experienced and what I saw to help sort of facilitate, as you're saying, and try to stay away from just the hot shiny thing. And as you said, look for the people behind it. You know, what's being done. Yeah,
I definitely learned a valuable lesson those 2 years. Like I definitely should have been more controlled and patient and actually just stuck profit away. Like it was something I look back on like, oh, that sucks, but it's a moment of growth. Like,
yeah, you're learning.
Yeah. So yeah, it is interesting. And I mean, I've got a wallet full of a bunch of stuff that some of it might randomly be worth something one day. Cause there are some cool artists in there and we'll see. The utility part's the more interesting part to me. Like what Gary's doing. Like he could eventually build a theme park for VFriends, and holding one of those tokens might give you like lifetime access. I mean, imagine if you had lifetime membership to Disney World. How valuable is that?
Pretty valuable.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
mean-
to get in, sure, but then you're still spending a shit ton of money
Yeah,
on the
well,
inside.
whatever.
So
You're still going to buy the food.
Yeah.
you're still
And then
getting hit with a ball.
Well, on that point, I was going to say, have you gotten into comics with him or the cards?
I mean, I've definitely got plenty of cards. So these are even zero cools. One of these is, two of them actually are from Eric Devash, the Tint Whiz. This zero cool box is one of the things I missed out on. I was very plugged in. I had the money. I was way up at the time. And Gary did these first box that there's only 10,000 cards total. So it matched the NFT count.
Right.
So there's, of the very rares, there's 5 of it matches the NFTs exactly. There's 101s, everything. These boxes, he did a reverse Dutch auction that you could lock up with a credit card. So it was like, you based off of your credit card limit, like, okay, I'm willing to spend $1,500 and I want 3 boxes at $1,500. And basically once the deadline hit, it started at whoever was willing to spend the most.
Yep.
And it worked its way down till all,
It's an amazing way to
How-
get all of them.
till every box is sold.
Right.
So it makes it kind of fair that somebody can't just like, if they just released it and whoever is the fastest to click gets it, it's like, okay, how much are you willing to spend per box and how many do you want? I got greedy and did like, I think I did like $1,500 and I wanted 3 of them based off of a credit card limit I had at the time. And I should have done 2 of them at like 2,000 or something.
Right.
And it ended up landing somewhere like around 1,800 was the cutoff. Like that was the lowest bid that got accepted for all of them to sell out. Anybody who bid under that didn't get one. But I told Eric, and I think I told Patrick, like, this is happening. Pay attention to it. You should do it. And Eric did it, and he got one.
Is that the box that we opened up at VCon?
And he might have, but he
Remember we did a Zoom and we
he live ripped it,
Yeah.
and then he had already told us ahead of time that we were all going to get 2 of the cards.
Yep.
And we randomly selected which card number it would be for each person. So these are the 2 that I got, and then he even sent me the frickin' box. Like the box right now sells on eBay. These boxes right now, Eric got. I think the initial auction ended up being like $1,800. It was the cheapest you could pay to get one. These right now, Gary sells on his whatnot very randomly. It's like $7,000. People will pay like $800-900 per spot. There's 10 cards in a box.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I ripped on whatnot. I ripped the day that the Topps Chrome came out. I ripped. And it was crazy because there were so many channels running them that like the VFriends channel or the people that are really tied into VFriends were getting like $40 to $60 a pack on opening day. And a lot of times they were doing custom breaks. I found some sports person that Gary had gotten to do some boxes or cases on launch day.
Right.
That was running one, and he was just doing it pack by pack and just like doing a live auction. And there wasn't a ton of people in there because the whole VFriends community was spread out.
Right.
And I was getting like 3 packs at a time for like $30. So he'd start a new box and I would just set like a minimum bid of like $30. And I knew that they were selling for like $40 a pack on other people's channels like right now.
Right.
Like if I can get 3 every time that he's doing 3 and it's a brand new box and nothing big is hit yet, I'm going to put a $30 minimum bid in. And I won an entire box all the way through. And the very last 3 cards in that box I got for like maybe $60. Whatever it was low. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep buying until this box is gone, and then I'm done for the day. It was like in the morning. And the last 3 packs, one of them rips open and the dude starts freaking out. It was a 101 sketch to screen of Fearless Fairy, which is like one of the big characters.
Exactly.
I sold that on eBay for $7,500.
I'm listening to all this
Yeah.
because this is where I think, as you said, the utility of VFriend ones. So I have a few VF1s still. I've accrued I'm up to 4 because I accrued in the down market, as you said. Buy
smart.
one's going down.
Yeah.
Got the ones I really wanted. Early one. So I spent 5 ETH for one, and I've spent less than 5 ETH for the other 3.
Yeah.
So I dollar cost averaged.
Let's say if anything, it's just spread.
I'm spreading it out.
Yeah.
I've still got 3 of the Topps Chrome boxes that I got, the original that showed up before they actually released
The hobby.
Just sitting. They were sitting there on my desk in the kitchen until they got dust on them. And
you got those for owning the NFT and
cost me $99 a piece.
Yeah, and right now those are selling for $800 a box.
Yeah. And I keep telling my wife this. I'm like, we're trying to figure out how we're going to pay for our vacation. And what I'm hearing from you is I just need to get on Whatnot and start selling this stuff, because I've got 8 copies of each comic. I've like gone into each one of these things to try and figure out. Is there a secret?
That's what Gary would tell you. But it's from what I've seen, people that are really successful on Whatnot, you gotta be on there a lot.
Okay.
And keep doing it. And your first couple might not be great, but like the people that stay with it and are consistent with it and are constantly resupplying,
right?
They're killing it. But I mean, eBay's hot too, man. Like eBay is simple, and there's tons of stuff selling on there. I mean, like the Series 2 boxes. That box right there is unopened. I've got 3 of them sitting in here. I've got 5 more at home.
That one's unopened?
Yeah. All 3 of these boxes are unopened. We haven't ripped these yet. You want to rip it, it's $500 because that's what I can sell it for on eBay right now. And I got those for free for minting the Series 2 NFTs. I ended up getting 11 of them. I gave one to Patrick so far. I gave one to Cadeau, and I gave one to Eric. So out of my 11, I'm down to 8.
I have 1.
Yeah, I've got a pink one, and I've got another orange one.
Could you
the rest are green.
Hit jackpot?
Oh, 100%. But I mean, 2 years ago, it would have sold
8 of them.
2 years ago, it would have sold for like $250. He keeps ripping them on his channel. People in the community are running Whatnots, and they're selling them and ripping them. And every day that goes by, they get more and more rare, so they keep going up in value because they all could potentially have a 1-on-1 in them. Gary's really smart when it comes to collectibles, and the collectible world's huge, man. It's like you look at the Pokemon cards right now. Jake Paul's
Pikachu
Illustrator is probably about to go for like 8 or 9 million. It's up right now. There's a show on Netflix where they highlight the fact that they're about it's I'm pretty sure the auction's live right now, but he bought it for like whatever. But it's like the collectible world's exploding because there's all these live platforms where people are ripping stuff more than ever. More people are collecting more than ever. It's
so if I didn't want to put in the time, I'm doing podcasts, I'm doing I'm doing this other stuff. I see those guys. I drop in and I promote the show and I'll buy stuff from here and there. But I don't want to get good at it. It
seems like running it is a full-time job. Yeah. Like if you wanted to turn that into your full-time thing, you could, but like you're going to have to spend a lot of time on it. I've seen a lot of people run their own show that haven't built up an audience and nothing's selling. And then or they have to go really cheap with it. And it's like, I mean, it looks fun, but I don't have the time for it. Like I've thought about like that would be really fun. Like
just keep holding it and let it grow in value, and then maybe sell it to somebody that needs to restock
I think it's just like any other asset. Like when's the best time to sell real estate in downtown Manhattan? Was it in 1940? Was it in 1960? Was it today?
No, it's not. No, not today.
Well, no, the answer is never. Like you just don't ever fucking sell. Like, and that you could always take a loan out against it in the future. And it's going to just keep going up in value, and you're never going to pay taxes on it. That's the same thing. That's exactly how you should look at Bitcoin. It's the same thing, especially when you understand that you can loan against it and never pay the capital gains tax. If that big bag of money gets bigger and bigger and bigger, imagine you have a piece of real estate in Manhattan that's worth $100 million, and you can always take a loan against it for $1 million, and you're never gonna get liquidated, and you're never gonna pay taxes on it. That's actually, you got to get a bank involved. It's kind of complicated.
Right.
But if you own $100 million in Bitcoin, you can always take any amount of loan. I mean, you're gonna have to take a serious loan against it to be in risk of being liquidated. But if you just need $100,000 for the year, you're good to go, and then you don't even have to make a payment on it. And if it keeps going up in value over the next decade, that payment that you make in the future is probably half the value of what it would have been when you initially took the loan out. Like that's why Michael Saylor just keeps buying more and more and more and more and more.
There are times when my sphincter tightens up with him, like watching it go up to 125 and then drop back down to 79.
No, but his average purchase price right now is like 60 or 70 thousand per coin.
Right.
Like he would need it to fall off a cliff right now to even be at even.
Right.
And his company now, and what's crazy how he's doing it is he's even got a stock product that you can get like a 10% return, where he's combining his company and their assets as like a mechanism to.
It's crazy.
What he's doing is insane. That dude, if Bitcoin goes the way it should go, which I think it will at the rate the world keeps printing money, and it's getting more and more advantageous legally, big corporations and stuff, and the fact that you can hold it in your 401k or your IRA now. I mean, it's still only a $2 trillion market cap. It's like the US market cap of the economy right now is it's close to 200 trillion. That's just like the US. So like if everything
it's a
actually,
drop in the bucket.
Yeah, it still hasn't even started. Like the problem is everybody always thinks I've been hearing people tell me they missed out. It's too late since 2017. Like I keep telling people like, hey, just don't put all your money into it.
Patrick,
like treat it like a 401k or a Roth IRA, and every single week or month have an amount that's going into it. And then this is the hard part. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
That's been my hard part. Like you said, treat it like a 401k.
Yeah.
Like
I said Patrick twice because he and I were talking about this, I think on my podcast, small plug there. He's like, I had a buddy that was trying to get me to buy it at 4,000 a coin. And he's like, and he just drives around in fancy cars and is extremely wealthy. And I'm like, so did you buy in now? And he's like, no, I'm still like, he's still old. He's like you said, and I just can't laugh. But laugh at it because it's like, no, it's you know.
It's the quick thing. This is what the big lesson I've learned with every cycle of crypto that I learned it the most with the NFT cycle is like anytime everybody's like, oh, this cycle is going to be different, it's just going to keep going up. Like, yeah, no, it's not going to be quick. The volatility of it is the magic of it, in my opinion. It's what makes it so strong and stable in the long run, is because the traditional market right now, like, and I actually do want to get to your podcast, but like the traditional market scares me way more than the crypto market. If you look at the chart for the S&P 500, or for real estate or for anything else, and you zoom out and say go back to like 2000 till now, the 2008 crash is like part of a flat line that you can't even notice that anything happened. The whole thing keeps getting bailed out by the government printing more and more money, which has not allowed it to actually release the extra tension in the system. Yep. Like, I think even 2020 was a nice, like, almost like, okay, cool, this is an opportunity where the wealthy people knew, all right, if we can really scare the crap out of everybody, we might get a 30-40% real quick downturn where we can actually put this liquidity to work.
What's scary about that?
I mean,
from 1984.
Yeah, it's like 2008 looks like 2008 looks like nothing happened.
Yep.
That looks like a Bitcoin chart before it's getting ready to burst. Yep. The cool thing is though, is Bitcoin does that every 4 years like clockwork, so it doesn't have this massive super bubble building. Like people that are over leveraging it get liquidated.
Yep.
Quick, fast, in a hurry. And it happens all the time. So you don't have a bunch of extra leverage hanging over the system ready for it to collapse. Like, no, when it's hanging out in a range like it is right now, is the time to just accumulate. Because between the last cycle, there was a lot of people I was telling that I knew had the money, like, hey, when it was between like 40 and 19 or however low it got, like you should be buying this every week nonstop, because this will be the lowest you'll ever see it for a 2-year period ever again.
Google was the one we should have got into in the 2000s.
No, any stock right now, especially all the tech stocks, man.
Last year,
it just doesn't even,
yeah. So it's like charts like that's the one thing I'm glad that I did pay attention and learn. Like, okay, it taught me what the bond market was relative to the stock market, how money actually flows, and gave me like some insights into
You know
looking.
what scares me? It scares me because we just learned about this at our show. The top 7 tech companies
Or everything.
have a $20 trillion market cap right now.
Yeah.
Now I know they're worth something, but are they worth 20 trillion? And is that, you know what I mean? Is that this bubble we're waiting for?
Well, the problem is that bubble isn't necessarily that, like, we have had corrections, right?
Yeah.
It's more representing the deflation of the money.
Yes.
Because that's all being priced in dollars.
Yeah. Yes.
The real magic for me to like really like get someone to over the hump of understanding how strong Bitcoin really is like convert that chart to be priced in Bitcoin. It doesn't look the same. I don't care which one of those you look at. You put a 10-year chart, price it in dollars, and then put it side by side with one priced in Bitcoin. Instead of being an exponential spike up, it's actually lost.
Right.
It's down in value because you actually have something that's a true store of value that's fixed and not being inflated by more being printed every day by either the government or banks.
Right.
Because that's what people don't realize. Most of the money being printed isn't even the government. It's when interest rates are low, banks can loan out 90% more than they're holding, right? They only have to hold 10% of what they loan out. So every bank out there is just inflating the money supply, especially when interest rates are low. That's why like they're really cautious on how they're lowering them right now.
Understanding how banks work and the fact that they take in $1 but then can loan back out $10 or whatever it is, just the ratio and just the house of cards. I mean, being ignorant is bliss, as they said in the Matrix, right? Just not knowing. So it's like, how much of this do I really want to know?
That's why social media is scary, because most people don't want to it's just like, I'm just going to.
They don't want to know.
No, I'll be in my bubble. And even if like I'm being proven what I think is absurd and ridiculous, I've got confirmation in my little circle of the internet over here that I'm right. And I'm just going to continue to believe that no matter what evidence is put in my face.
Yeah.
Your podcast, because I've been on it. Like I wanted to get into this, and we've been talking like totally kind of about a bunch of crazy stuff. What got you into doing that, and like what your journey on your walking and stuff? Because that was a thing we really connected on VCon.
Yes.
That I really wanted to get into, because I know you've stuck with it for a long time now. What was the impetus and what keeps it going?
You stick with what becomes your identity at the end of the day. And so go back to 2014, I got divorced, and I think you don't need that to be your impetus to get better, but that caused me to want to get better and to look at myself and all that stuff they talk about, through therapy of just understanding what's going on. And I put a Fitbit on, started walking July 24th, 2015. My dyslexia. I put on a Fitbit, started wearing it, started walking, got into a relationship with who is now my wife, and we became walking partners, and she got a Fitbit, and we kind of, use it. And back in the early days, back to the gamification or the casino side of it, we would do the taunting, and, you do the challenges, and all that was great. I listened so far, I think I'm up to 260 books now on Audible. Like almost all of them are nonfiction. I call when I go walking, I'm going to school. I'm listening, I'm learning, I'm trying to grow. And I listen to a lot of podcasts, as you and I were talking earlier, and Rogan, which we connected on, I remember, had Jesse Ixler and David Goggins on, and they were talking about the his Living with a Seal book. And then the David Goggins book came out, and I listened to David Goggins' book, and I'm like, you mean when I tell everybody I've just given everything, I've only given 40%? Is that real? And I had been walking, I think the first year I walked 2,500 miles on my feet. And then the next year I walked 3,500 miles on my feet. And then I read the David Goggins book, and I walked 5,000 miles the next year. And I said, I got to put something out there. I got to find something. And so I put on the calendar, I said, I'm going to turn 50 April 11th, 2015. I'm sorry, 2022, starting at the beginning, trying to do my math. I'm going to walk the circumference of the earth before I turn 50. That means I have to walk 12 miles a day, every day, until I turn 50. And if I don't, I'm going to miss it. So I did what I see in the restaurant business as a soft opening. And I said, okay, I'm going to start doing this. And then I failed. I couldn't do 12 miles a day. We have life, we have kids, we travel, we work, we do all this stuff. So I said, let me back the scale up. I can do 84 miles in a week. That's still 12 miles a day, right? But I can do 84 miles a week. That might look like 16 and 8 and 10 and 11 and whatever, but it's going to be 84. And I finished 4 weeks early. I finished March 14th, 2022, which is pi, back to math and everything kind of driving. And I wanted that math reference. And I finished the Circumference Earth. So I actually walked more than 12 miles a day. I worked out to like 12.1 over that period of time, because there was weeks I had, I think my biggest week was 120 miles. Maybe it was 112. I'm known to exaggerate in sales. But sorry, didn't mean to say that to any of the sales people.
Oh, it's all true.
But I listened to Goggins. He told me to do this. In my head, I heard him telling me to do this. And so I started walking and I did that. And what it really did is it turned me into a walker. Like, I always enjoyed walking. I ran cross country. I did 5Ks, 10Ks, as a youth, as a teenager. We lived in Alaska. So, we'd run trails, things like that, cross country ski. I'm a really good walker. And I basically identified that, such to the point, like, if you look at this, and everything of mine is a reference, but like a Snickers commercial where, hey, go eat something. You're not being yourself.
Go run.
My wife will look at me and she will say, it's time for you to go for your walk. Like, you need to go. And she did my podcast. And she said publicly, and you can see this, that me leaving for 3 hours a day is probably why we get along so great, because she can do her stuff and have her thing, and she can be good with herself, and I can get right with myself. I can listen to books and learn, and I can talk on the phone, and I can do my thing. To the original question, I think I'm getting there. Why did I start the podcast? And it's called Second Lap, and it was, I've listened to all these books. I've listened to all these podcasts. I've got 10,000 hours. Anything to become a professional, you want to do 10,000 hours of it. I've been walking for 10,000 hours. I'm a professional walker now. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to share what I've learned and have conversations with people about, just back to the ignorance is bliss thing. Like, there's things you really do want to know. There's a lot of stuff that getting up early in the morning before other people are even awake, and getting, miles in, or we're up at 5 o'clock in the morning. By 8 o'clock, we've got 3 miles in. We've each done 100 push-ups. We've had our morning coffee. We've checked in with the world. We've done all of our social media. We're right with the world. And so we just wanted to be able to, so the podcast was started so we could share those ideas. I've been through a couple producers. I did it originally where it was me and another human, another V friend. And we did it more as kind of just a back and forth solo kind of a thing. And Ryan Turner was who I did it. He's the guy that has all of the gnomes. He's the guy that rehomes the gnomes, and he has all the gnome cards. Ryan Turner. He did it with me, and then sort of life throws a curve where you need to learn, and hey, wasn't really working out for his schedule, and back to Patrick and Ronnie, and we talked about it at VCon 2024 in California. We were sitting there, talking, and Ronnie and I were kind of shooting back and forth, and when this kind of became available, I shared with him, and he was excited about it, and we just started doing it. So it's become more of a conversation that I can have with other humans. And I just bring that up because we're talking about AI. I don't want to have a podcast where I'm talking to a computer.
It's probably going to happen, though.
And it's probably is going to happen. But I wanted to, and I guess my vision and what I'm seeing is that it's not like I'm seeking out continuously new people. It's more, I'm thinking of, a pocket of people that people could build sort of a relationship with, because they, connect with that character in the story, and, kind of attached to it, and we can share, life lessons and have my original, it's called Second Lab, but my original name for it was called Vaguely Specific Conversations, which is just my intent. I want to have conversations like we're having and be able to share that information out there with the world. My big thing on social media is I'm completely doxxed. I'm wanting people to know I am the real human. I want them to be able to see me as the human, not that they're conversing with a bot. And I go by Gramps. I have our 11th grandchild is on the way. We'll have in August. And so just sharing kind of those lessons that I've learned along the way, and with people, as I said, like you, and it's been fun. I've really enjoyed it so far.
Yeah, and is it typically now always while you're out on a walk?
I try to do it while I'm on a walk. We're trying to, the feeling is we're trying to get people to walk with us. When I get somebody that'll join the podcast and then they go walking while I'm walking, other than, and I'm looking over, other than the technical difficulties of the person trying to keep the podcast together, with connections and all that stuff, that is only really the biggest challenge right now is, if we're both mobile, usually it's just me. So there's one person that's static and me, I'll go in and out from, connection from time to time. And that's getting better too, slowly.
So 84 is a base for a week and you got up to 120. You could probably walk an ultra. You can walk an ultra. Have you?
100%.
Have you have thoughts of attempting one?
I've looked the short answer is yes, I have. I've been trying to find something that would be, I don't have to run, don't have to hurt any of the joints, and I can do what I've found, and I'm probably just not doing enough research, is I don't think that the ones that I've researched have like time limits, like
so
get to a
I
certain
know
gait
which
by
format
time.
you should do.
Okay.
100%. They've got it's a little bit more boring. No, not backyard because the cutoff time's still too fast. A time limit race.
Well, first off, how fast are you walking?
You're not walking 4.1 miles in an hour.
No, that's what I'm saying.
What's the average time per mile?
We've got one here. Desert Solstice. They've got all different distances, but they've also got times. Cornerstone. What's whatever it's called.
I know what you're talking about.
But they've got them all over the place. But you can do somewhere
72 hour,
where they've got a
48
24-hour and a 48-hour option. It's just a loop.
Yep.
That you do over and over and over again. And how far do you get in that amount of time? That would probably be the best format for someone that's going to walk.
So I did a world's toughest mudder, did 25 miles in a 24-hour period. We were on track to do 50, didn't fuel my body right, was nauseous. We laid in the tent for hours. I guess where I would come back to you is what I'm balancing is I'm 53 years old, going to be 54 this year. So I'm trying to maintain muscle and other things that we're just naturally going to start to lose as we age. And so when I look at those really intense events, like after the world's toughest mudder, I could hardly move for 2 days. Everybody that's done one of those kind of extreme events, it's like, and I want, I guess, the slow, steady, long, winded way as opposed to going out and possibly hurting myself.
Oh no!
So that's where but I am intrigued and I want to do something more.
Well, I think the consistency of doing that for as long as you've done it is
that's what I'm saying.
It's impressive.
If you're holding say 19-minute mile,
16 to 17. I was trying to answer you earlier.
There's 36-hour cutoff 100-milers that you will clear that boundary because I've done them and I've barely cleared the 36 hours, and that's what my average was. And obviously that was mixed in with. I think the last time I did the Tahoe 100, the rim trail, I barely finished in time, but I can look at my data and I know exactly where I went wrong.
You can't be barely pregnant. You can't be barely dead. You finished.
Yeah.
Don't take anything away from yourself.
Oh, no.
Self-talk. You finished. Sorry.
No.
Think about this whole self-talk thing.
No.
You think?
Oh, well, I can
In time.
I can
Yeah.
I can pinpoint the exact time where I went off my game plan, and it usually always happens. It's the same story. I've heard it from numerous runners. I've heard it from him a couple times,
Yep.
and unfortunately, I fell victim to it. Is after the first, you start in Carson City and you go up to Snow Valley Peak, up in Tahoe. That's your first big climb. It's a 5,000 foot climb, and you do it in 10 miles.
Okay.
So you just
Pretty aggressive.
Yeah. So that one's like, I actually like that race. So that's sole fact is because you know not to go out aggressively and you can go slow. And it's like, hey, I got plenty of time to get up the mountain. You crescent the peak, and then all of a sudden you just see Lake Tahoe. It's absolutely gorgeous. You get to watch the sunrise, and then you see Tahoe, and it's gorgeous. Then you have to run down from Snow Valley Peak down to Spooner Lake. And it's like I want to say you lose probably about 2,000 feet, and you do it within like a 5 mile like loop around. So all of a sudden you can start going faster because you're going downhill. I got caught in a conversation with a guy where we started talking about what ultras I've run or he ran. It was like his third time doing Tahoe. He had run Western States 3 times. That's the race I'm trying to get to. So it was a great conversation. My heart rate wasn't high, but I wasn't paying attention to my pace. I was running like 11-minute miles, and I had no business doing it because it destroyed my legs. Yep. So as soon as I got about 50 miles in, going downhill was a serious problem. It was extremely painful, and it slowed me down tremendously. And I was on a great pace. And then as soon as I got to like miles 65, 70, it was really like anything downhill. I couldn't move fast because like I was going to either eat it or fall under a tree.
Right.
That my legs were completely gone. So, but if I maintained the pace that I should have, like by the time that race ended, I think I ended up averaging like an 18-minute mile. And yes, there is a bunch of different elevation gains in that race, but I know there are plenty of other races where they saw that 36-hour cutoff time. It'd be a good one.
Your first
Texas,
one.
yeah, Texas. The only thing with that one is it has root systems, so you just have to watch where you're walking. But that's a 36-hour cutoff. It's a 20-mile loop. It's
pretty flat.
And yeah, I think it had 6,000 feet of elevation gain in the whole race. So
Yeah, down by Houston.
Huntsville, Rocky Raccoon.
Rocky Raccoon.
Rocky Raccoon, to where something like that, to where it's slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady will get you there every time. It's when you try to push yourself, like, oh, I'm going to hit this time. And then you push yourself at the wrong time or too early, and you don't realize how it's going to crush you about 10 hours later.
Right.
And, I've enjoyed every single race I've done, because every race I've done, I've been able to take so much from it, because that's the only time I cross those barriers in that time period. Like, I'm not going out to do a practice 100-mile run.
Right.
I'm going to do a 100-mile run. I'm doing a race. Like, I've built myself up to that race, and then I'm going to go do the race. And then, like, I've only crossed the 50-mile barrier, I think maybe 8 or 9 times. Otherwise, my longest training runs when I am training are like 32 miles. Okay. And I do that like once or twice towards the tail end, right after right before I start tapering down before the race starts. But there are definitely plenty of races. Even the San Diego, one day, the 100. That's a 24-hour race though. But I think they have longer. They have longer time ones. But they definitely do have like the 48-hour one. The 48-hour one, if you just walk,
48 hours I could do.
Yeah, you'll do more than 100 miles. Well, without a doubt, you'll do more than 100. Like, and I want to eventually do one of those races. It's just I've been so focused on the fact that, like, if I'm doing a race, it's a qualifier. Like, I'm trying to get more tickets in the bucket. I have 16 right now. If I do another qualifier, I'll have 32. The one thing I did look up, I might take off this year only because we have so much going on with the business and us launching the other business. It's like, I don't know if I can fit it in. And the one thing that was concerning to me is that it used to be if you didn't do a race consecutively, you lost your tickets. From what I've understood reading the rules now, it's you can only put your name in the bucket if you have if you've done a qualifying race that year. So if you don't put in because you didn't run a qualifier, your tickets still stay. So if you take a year, take a sabbatical, take a year break, I can go into the next year and I'll keep my tickets. I'll have 32 tickets going into the next year. And it's progressively getting harder and harder to get into Western states. Like, they thought,
is it just because there's too many people applying?
Yeah. Okay. If you look at the chart from when it first started, early 2000s, and now at first they get like 600 people, 700, and then all of a sudden they put the cap on it where only 365 can run it. So that's why they put the lottery system in place. And then it was like all of a sudden, like, all right,
Is that a safety thing? Why do they cut that?
No, so when
it's a California thing.
yeah. So the year
I was born in LA, so
there was I forget what year it was, but there was a section of the course that got redesignated as either like state park or national park.
It goes through state and federal land.
Yeah, and because all of a sudden, like luckily the directors for Western states knew that law was happening, and they got an exemption wrote in for Western states that race can continue to happen through that section. But the caveat is they can never have more people run it than ran it that year.
so they're capped at whatever that.
No,
Yeah.
they've had more than 365 run it. I think it literally was like you're allowed to run 365 people. That's it. Because
My understanding was that was like when the year that they made the shift, that was the reasoning.
The beginning of Western States when it started, when at least looking on their chart on the website, there were years like 400, 500, 600, and then all of a sudden that's when they implemented the lottery system. When all the land, because you go through private land and then you also go through state, and then you go through some federal spots. I think there's like 12 different sections that you're either going through different parts of land.
Okay.
So they capped it at 365. So now you have to go in for the lottery system. This last year, the entries went through the roof. They almost broke 10,000 entries. The year before was the first year that it actually went down. So 3 years ago, it was about 9,500, 9,600, and then it went down to like 91. So it's like, okay, finally, they hit a point where people are like, why am I even going to try to qualify? Like, this is going to take me 8 years to get into. So it was starting to go down. So like, all right, that's a good sign. And then this year, it went through the roof again. So it's like, no. So, I mean,
Are you in a slot? Like, or are you just every year?
Every year I watch the lottery. Watched it this year. I think 2 people from Vegas got called. In which, when they announce it, the one thing I wish they would change, I wish they would be very systematic if they announce it the same way in each ticket they pull, because the dude will be like, all right, 2 tickets, and then he'll say like a city and then a name or a country. And then the next time he'll do it, he'll just say the city, or he'll just say the name, and then he'll say how many tickets. Like, whenever he leads off with, all right, it was 16 tickets, I'm like, huh? And they're like, from Italy, I'm like, never mind. So, and then all of a sudden he'll say, all right, from Las Vegas, and it's like, maybe 32 tickets. I'm like, that's no chance. So it's like, can you just be consistent how you're announcing this? Because I'm on the edge of my seat, which, I mean, obviously he does that for a reason. Oh, agreed.
Yeah.
So, but then I just realized they're doing a new thing now where they actually do a raffle where for how much money they get to, where it goes into, I think, grooming the trail and running the race, every time it gets to $5,000, if you buy these raffle tickets, when they get to $5,000, they raffle off a spot. So it's depending on how many raffle tickets you want to buy. And as they start getting more and more money, every time they cap the $5,000 mark, they raffle off another spot to where it has nothing to do with the lottery system.
Right.
It's its completely own different lottery where you're just donating money and you're trying to pretty much buy your way in. To where
to help pay to improve and maintain.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Could you go run it not as a, like?
I don't think so.
No?
Because you're going to cross through private land.
Okay. That's what I was wondering.
There are sections that you can run, and like, I'm excited whenever it does happen, because I know it'll happen one day. It's just going to take time. And I knew going into this journey that this isn't like, at first I wanted to get pulled when the first qualifier I did. And now that I've done 5 races now, I don't want to get pulled. I want to get pulled when I have probably another 3 or 4 races underneath my belt, because that race is going to mean a lot to me. Like, that race, I want to do sub 24. I will hire a running coach and do a private training with that running coach for that race to hit that goal. Right. So I look forward to it when the day comes. I can't wait for it. But like, leading up to that race, if you get pulled, they have a training week. I think like a month before, where you go up there and you'll run each section of the race. I think within a span of like 3 or 4 days, we'll go out and do like a 20-mile section, then a 26-mile section, so where you can go get a feel for the course. Sure. And then you get to put it all together. Yep. So I look forward to it, but it'll happen one day. But I'm enjoying the journey as I go along right now.
What's your biggest tool? Is it an ice bath? Is it your mental game? What are you?
From every race I've done, I've slowly added everything. The first one I just did technically willy-nilly and was just taking advice from him. Not that it was bad advice. It was good advice, but I just overtrained. And then next one, I actually got a running plan. It scared me only because I never peaked at 100 miles in a week. I peaked at 84. Okay. But that race, mentally, I was good to go. Ice baths, I'm definitely religious with the ice bath. So if I'm in a training regiment right now, I just have been lazy and I need to empty out my cold plunge and reclean it.
That's probably like the hardest thing to keep in, because as soon as you have any little break on it, it's the mental toughness to decide to get back in again is so tough.
Yeah, it's not,
it's crazy. It's not bad once you're in there.
No, it's not.
It's getting in is always torture.
It's adding every little thing to it has it helped? The mental, I don't want to say I've got locked down, but I know that it's going to be a mental battle no matter what. Every race I've gotten into, you're going to have your low points. You need to cut it into short sections. That's probably one of the biggest things that's helped, that you can't look at the grand scheme of, I got 50 miles left. It's no, I got 4.5 miles to the next aid station. I'm going to get there. And then we'll make it to the next aid station after that and chunk it into little pieces to where it's a lot more consumable. Yeah. But the ice bath definitely has helped with preventing injury, because that's the biggest thing leading up to the race. You got to make sure that you're not overtraining, but you are training enough so you're ready, and just recovery.
Yep.
Yes.
Stuff.
Yeah. So the ice bath definitely helped.
Have you been doing sauna at all?
I haven't got one yet. So no.
Oh, EOS, dude, $10 a month. So only
then I have to drive somewhere. I don't like that.
It's worth it.
I'm getting ready to implement it into my life.
Dude,
I'm just gonna.
I like it so much better than the cold, but with the two of them together are great.
How do you do them? Which order?
So I'm typically, because I'm going to EOS, I'm not necessarily stacking them. Okay. But if I'm like actively training and I'm cold plunging every morning, it's like the first thing I wake up and then I'll probably, when I typically do that, it's then I'm either going for a run outside, either on the trail or neighborhood. And what I've actually found I like a lot, which is weird, and it only happened with training with my daughter and getting more knowledgeable on training with her for faster stuff, is a lot of pro runners spend a lot of time on the treadmill.
Okay.
Especially for like easy runs or maybe even some thresholds, because you can really control your perceived effort and where your heart rate is. So which zone you're in, like be intentional about your training session. Like, is this supposed to be an easy run, meaning it should stay aerobic? Right. Or is it supposed to be a threshold run where you're up closer to your anaerobic threshold? And on the treadmill, the easy runs have actually become really easy. I'll go to EOS, I'll go into the theater room. I know about which speed to put it at this point. I always put it at like 2 point. Yeah, it's great. Lord of the Rings or something's on. I typically, I'm not even listening to what's on the theater. I'll have a podcast or an audiobook on. Right. But I've got something to watch at the same time. But I know what range of speed to put it at. And I always go 2.5 or 3 incline. And then I just keep an eye on my heart rate. If my heart rate starts creeping a little high on the treadmill, it's really easy to decrease the incline a little or turn it down 1 or 2 notches and then watch my heart rate level out. And then I can hold it. And my daughter does it like perfectly now. She can get it right at where she wants her heart rate to be and just hold it there for an hour. And then immediately go get in the sauna. Okay. Doing the sauna post workout is really where I think from what I've seen and heard, the real magic is hitting it post workout, especially like a hard workout. So if you're doing like a harder run, it's even better. So at least like 3 to 4 days a week. So if you had 3 hard runs a week, like a tempo, a threshold, or a speed work, if you could do it immediately after that, awesome. I like doing it after the easy runs too, because when you go in there and you've already taxed your aerobic system and your heart rate's elevated, and I've done it both ways. So when I go in and it's 180 degrees in the sauna and I sit there for 20 minutes, my heart, and I'll keep my, I'll run a whole new workout so I can track my heart rate on my watch for the sauna. It'll end up being like 10 or 15 more minutes of easy zone 2 heart rate. So you're getting the cardiovascular fitness of still doing some easy aerobic work without any extra fatigue. You're actually like relaxing and recovering while you're still getting an aerobic stimulus. Studies now are showing too that it's probably more beneficial than even altitude training if you're pairing it with a hard workout like that. And then there's all the studies that say it's just good for longevity. Like 4 or 5 days a week is just going to keep you healthier. Yep. And I think the way that most people show it with cold is then you would want to finish it with cold. But I don't ever do that.
Ronnie was doing that, and he said he felt like it was worse. Like it was that mental of getting into the cold after your body was all comfortable and warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be a cheat code, but it doesn't sound like there is a cheat code.
No, you just got to. No,
You just got to do it.
You'll never get used to the cold
I've
plunge.
done it at a nice gym before. Actually, I got to go train with our cousin at the PI. So UFC PI here. They've got a giant sauna. And then right outside of the sauna is a hot tub and a giant cold plunge that's like 10 people, 20 people could fit in it. And you can walk into it to under your neck. And I did do it there that way. And it didn't feel harder. And honestly, in that setting, it was kind of actually really simple because I'm like going straight out the sauna.
Right.
Directly into the cold. It actually wasn't bad to step into it, but it was the coldest cold plunge I've ever been in. And I decided I'm going to like show off to all these power slap guys because that's who I was there with. There was like a bunch of people that were going to be, they were cutting weight for the power slap that was happening that weekend. I'm like, I'm going to stay in for 5 minutes. I've been doing this all the time. And at the end of 5 minutes, I got out and I was like, I'm not cold. I'm good. I'm going to be fine. And I tried like holding off from going back into the sauna and like, 3 minutes later, I'm still like jackknifing and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is colder than I'm used to. I'm going into the sauna. And I went into the sauna to warm up a little bit after that. That's funny. Yeah. I think they're both good. I think the sauna though is like, I was for health benefits, it's probably better.
Yeah, no, I haven't added it to my setup. Thankfully I have a spare room that when we bought our house, we intentionally bought it with knowing that we're turning one of our rooms into a gym room.
Right.
And I accumulated equipment as leading up to buying that house. So I have a set of dumbbells, kettlebells, medicine balls. And then I have the cold plunge sitting in the bathroom that's in that room right now, which eventually I want to rip the shower out and actually put a legitimate cold plunge in there. And then there's a closet in that room, which I'm either going to take the walls down or if I can find somebody to custom build like a 1-person sauna in there, that's where it's going. Like for me, if I can take away the friction of having to get in my car and go nowhere,
right.
That's why I got into running. Like run 5 miles that way. I gotta go 5 miles back. It's a 10-mile run no matter what. Like I can't. I mean, I could call it Uber, but it's like it forced me to do that. And now I don't necessarily have to do out and back runs anymore to stay consistent. Just because it's like I know I have to run. Like I have to exercise. It's the best thing for my mental state and everything. So it's like. It's built in now, and even with the cold plunge helped a lot too. It's just like I say, I fell off, and it's just like I haven't cleaned my plunge, and now that I've taken so long to clean it, now I'm gonna have to replace the tubes in it and actually do a deep clean on it. So that's even setting me back, but I will eventually do it and get back into it. It's like whenever I do start a training plan, like it's not a question. It has to happen because I don't want to get hurt while I'm training. Because if I can't train for 2 or 3 weeks during that training block, it really throws me off. Yeah. So
I need to get back to the cold. I haven't been in since December. I was
been destroying.
Well, she goes every day, but that's the cool thing is mine never gets dirty. I've actually got a chest freezer converted into one. I've got filtration set up on it. I'm running hydrogen peroxide in it. Like once every 2 to 3 months, I just empty it, refill it, and clean out the filter.
I've added filters to mine. It's just I push it past its limit. Like I can go 4 weeks without
Have you been adding hydrogen peroxide?
I have water cleaner.
Yeah,
so put water treatment in.
That's I don't know. But I had like a little piece of skin cancer removed, so all of a sudden I couldn't do it for 2 weeks, and then it's like getting like once that finally fully healed, where I don't feel like because I know it's clean, but it was like I'm not getting in that water that I haven't changed in a month, and my daughter's using every day while I still have an open wound.
Right.
And then once it finally fully healed, is like man, I haven't done this in like 3 weeks.
Are you going to the dermatologist like on a regular basis? Is that how you found it, or?
Yeah. Well, I had a weird spot there that I had the VA look at, and then they sent me
2 years after finding it.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a big deal. It was like the most.
We go every year.
Yeah,
That's why I was asking.
Yeah. Well, now I got a 6-month follow up every 6 months. So yeah.
Yeah. Now you have to. Which I need to go to. I have a spot on my shoulder that.
Well, my fear too was having been around the burn pits. Like I know a bunch of people I served with that have gotten cancer.
Yeah.
So I was like trying to be a little bit more aggressive with like, okay, I'm gonna actually start going to the VA, and although I hadn't been in like a year and a half, so it was kind of like this spot looks weird. I should probably go see my doctor and ask him to like get it checked out. And,
I'm glad you did.
Yeah. I mean, I guess whatever it was like the most common kind that once you cut it away, it's gone. So I'm not worried.
I had pre-melanoma on my back.
Oh.
And I blame it from being in the sun on the aircraft carrier in the Persian Gulf and frying my back. And she, early young dermatologist, did skin to fat. And so I looks like I have 2 bullet holes on my back.
Oh,
so
wow.
my grandkids, I just tell them, I was running away and they were, anyways, yes, go see your doctor.
Yeah.
Skin is important. Largest organ in your
Yeah,
body.
well, we're talking about health. Yeah. But you know what? This has motivated me. I'm getting in the cold tomorrow.
Right.
Especially because my daughter does it every day. Like I go in the garage because that's
Mine's
where we've
not
got it
clean
set
enough,
up. And I can tell that because we've got a towel laid down on the ground below it and then one on the chair that we kind of step into it. And I go in the morning and I'm like, oh, it's wet. She's been in here.
But we appreciate you coming out.
Yeah.
Definitely a great conversation.
You need to go on his now. His would be fun for you to go on because I've done it. And I didn't think about
down.
walking while I was on there. I should have.
I'm
I gotta
down.
do it again.
We'll do it.
I'm down.
Yeah,
We'll do
I'm
it.
gonna do it again while I'm actually walking with you.
Okay.
I like that idea.
We'll do it.
I'll find somewhere with good service that I can just walk in a circle.
Not that he's always anybody's favorite, but Bill Gates kind of got me thinking that way. He did a special where he talked about leaving and going off and sort of learning, and he'd take a stack of books and he would walk and just think about stuff.
Yeah.
And I said earlier, I call it going to school, but I feel that, and I don't know if it's an ADD thing, if it's a guy thing or what it is, but I feel like if my legs are moving and my body's doing this other stuff, that I can actually think about problems way better.
Yep. I'm the same way. I do that with running. It's funny. We were talking, this brings it back to the AI, and then I think we got to go. But I was telling my daughter, like, hey, this notebook LM thing, you're about to go to college. You're going to be running 8-9 hours a week. A lot of it's going to be long runs on this canal that they run along at the school she's going to. Like you can put all the source material for any class you're in into a notebook. And for whatever section you need to be studying at the time, you can immediately generate a podcast on that topic, on that chapter for whatever paper you need to write. And you could just be learning while you're on your runs for the topics you need the most studying with. It's like, that's the part that like has me like super excited. Like, okay, like how are people going to actually take this and utilize it to like, I mean, that would make the college experience so much better. Like you can, especially as a student athlete, like that's crazy. And then you can even generate your own quizzes on topics to like the quizzes I've generated for Tint Lab on certain topics have been like phenomenal, like insane. Looks like I spent a month curating and making this badass test. And
Tell everybody you did.
I'm kind of giving away the secret right now, but honestly, these are tools I think more people need to play with and learn. I thought I was dialed into how good AI was just by using ChatGPT to like help me rewrite stuff. But like, and I know I'm naive on what else, like Perplexity, and I haven't even spent time on any of these other ones that I know have their benefits depending on what you're using them for.
Yep.
But Gemini maxed out with Notebook LM right now is pretty impressive.
I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, Google, and because it's built into Google Stack and everybody already has a Gmail account, like as people start realizing how good that is, it's gonna be pretty hard for someone like, I don't know what other features Chat's added because I've always used it just kind of basic.
Yeah.
And I've never paid for the upgrade, but
Yeah.
Google's done some magic with what they're doing right now.
Agreed. Thank you. I wanted to get back to you saying thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on here. I mean, I really enjoyed it. And know when Jordan reached out a couple months ago, and I was like, I'm not in Vegas, I'm in Dallas, and I wanted to come in and be able to be with you guys. And then the sales kickoff was in the right place, and it just kind of all fell together. So I'm glad we were able to do it.
Yeah, no, that's the one thing that I think we're actually pretty hard set on. If it's not in person, I'm not saying we wouldn't do it. I think there would be exceptions that might pop up eventually, but we try our hardest to make sure that's in person.
No, this is great. I like the studio and everything. I mean, it's really good. You guys put it all together.
Thank you.
Very professional.
Well, I'm glad we finally got you in here. I know we've talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
How much longer are you in town for?
A couple hours.
3.5 hours.
Okay. Damn it. I know you probably already told us that, and a lot of the scheduling was definitely going through him. So
It's all good. It's all good. I got up at 2:10 and changed my flight because I had originally scheduled the flight and we were working and I thought I had it for the 2:45, but I had set it for 8:55. this morning. And so, yeah, anyways, I woke up and called in, and with all the snow and stuff, that time is really extended, that you have to wait on hold. And while I was doing that, I actually went into the app and I clicked on a thing. And by the time it was like 2 seconds, I had it changed, moved over, had my seat, and I hung the phone up and went back to sleep for 3 hours. So,
Oh, nice.
nice.
Awesome. Well, we're going to have to get back on yours again.
Yeah.
And where can people find you? Where are they going to find the podcast?
Second Lap Podcast is on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube.
And your IG?
There's a Second Lap Podcast. Sorry, Ronnie runs the socials. My socials, all of mine for my personal, are all the same. Where they're RH Mattson, my name, RHMATTSON, on LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm not YouTube. LinkedIn, Instagram, X, and all those. Trying to be a doxed guy that people can find, and so appreciate that.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
You guys know where to find him. Definitely a wealth of knowledge. Become a pretty good friend over the years. It's kind of crazy. How long ago was that VCon?
It's 2022.
Yeah, so
4 years.
It's been 4 years now. Yeah. Dang, time flies.
Time does fly.
Check him out. Thank you for following along. Make sure you subscribe.
Thanks.